still remember the days when the entire crypto market cap was above $3 trillion? Yeah, those were the days. Since we're long on crypto, we should also get our mindset right, because investing is an exercise in both finance and psychology. There was this recent Bankless article where Morgan Housel, author of the New York Times best-selling book, The Psychology of Money, gave some advice that I'll share with you along with my thoughts on it as well. First thing that he mentions is there's no such thing as a free lunch. This one was pretty obvious if you're more than 5 years old. Everything worth pursuing has a cost attached to it. And these last few years of crypto have been extremely rewarding for early adopters, but also very volatile. In no other asset class has there been such enormous opportunities to earn generational wealth in relatively short amounts of time. But the outsized returns come at the cost of crazy volatility. So if you want the 100, 1,000, 10,000 X's, then you'll also need to be able to stomach the devastating drops, manage the euphoric heights, and overall learn how to handle all the pain, the anxiety, the sadness, frustration, and disappointment, and especially FOMO that comes with the ride. The second point is that no one is crazy, except for those that haven't liked and subscribed already. This one was a little less obvious to me because our culture throws the word crazy around like it's an easy write-off. But in actuality, everyone comes from very different backgrounds and upbringings and life experiences ultimately. The same applies to everyone's approach to money and finances. You know, it influences the way we think about money, how we spend it, invest it, and save it. And when presented with a set of information, people generally choose in their own best interests. However, it's the quality, timing, and amount of information that really differs from person to person and dramatically affects how somebody rationalizes a decision in their best interest. And so Housel argues that because of this, there is no definitive right or wrong way to invest. I would say that the important nuance here is there is no one-size-fits-all investing approach, but there are definitely good and bad ways to invest or manage specific portfolios within the context of its own risk tolerance and time horizon and financial goals. So a popular example of this are meme coins. Meme coins were super popular last year with the rise of Dogecoin and then all of its derivative dog coins. You know, crypto natives and OGs dismissed the whole meme phenomenon. They dismissed the dog coins with no intrinsic value. On the other hand, newcomers to crypto saw these assets as much needed power-ups to help them achieve their financial goals. The differences here are the investor preferences and time horizons. So I do agree that we should be less judgmental when looking at other people's decisions, because every market participant is playing their own personalized game in the grand scheme of things. The third thing he talks about is luck versus risk. They are two sides of the same coin. You know, smart investors, they often try to mitigate the risk and diversify or hedge their portfolios, but luck can have an equally large impact on returns. Both luck and risk involve unforeseeable events, sometimes black swan events even, and the impact is so outsized that it is out of the individual investor's control. A lot of it is also hard to replicate consistently. Take Bill Gates for an example. He's one of the most successful people in the world, but he doesn't think he would have started Microsoft if he didn't learn about computers in high school. How many high schools back then even offered computer learning classes? Not that many. And so this stroke of luck is not something you can willfully replicate, let alone consistently. Some things are just out of our control, and there's no point in wasting energy or stressing about the things that are out of our power. We just have to make the best of it when it comes to luck and risk. The next one is having enough. This one is definitely within our control because greed is one heck of a vice. In moderation, it can motivate you to work harder and to improve your quality of life. But in excess, it can lead you to reckless risk-taking and unrealistic expectations. Let's do a flashback to the bull run last year when people were beating themselves up, myself included, for not exiting at the exact peak and not entering at the exact bottoms. every single time, or maybe for only earning a 5x instead of the 100 or 1000x that others were bragging about on crypto Twitter.
How is everyone richer than I am? I'm farming at 1000% APY, but it's not enough. Somehow I see these billionaires being minted every single freaking day, and here I am, only making hundreds of thousands.
I mean, just look at all of the massive liquidations that have ensued since last year. Suzo and Kyle Davis of 3AC vaporized $1 trillion with their greed and recklessness when they could have been set for life. Look at Do Kwon and his reckless greed and also arrogance that led to the loss of over $600 billion in the market. The list is endless. And so in the words of my favorite business magnate, Beyonce, the only competition is yourself, who you were yesterday, not the anonymous account flashing their overnight wealth on a super yacht. Number 5, money is a tool for freedom. One way to think of this is crypto's not here to make you rich, it's here to set you free. This freedom can include sovereignty from self-custody and also the gains that provide you with more control of your time. Time is money, and money can help buy time, or essentially control your time. I don't know about you, but time is rare and controlling it even more so appealing. Housel goes on to talk about the power of compounding. This one we've all heard before, starting with the infamous Warren Buffett. Compound interest is the 8th wonder in the world, and making your money make you money while you sleep is the secret to riches. Now, getting and staying wealthy is also a really good point. Interestingly enough, he says that getting and staying wealthy require opposite mindsets, because to get rich, you need optimism to take on the risk and to go against the grain for those opportunities that will net you those outsized returns. But to stay rich, you need to be conservative, and your priority is now to protect and preserve the wealth rather than YOLO it on a dog coin. Number 8, reasonable versus rational. This one I thought was really interesting. He says that we try to be rational, but sometimes it's better to be reasonable. Because, for example, if you're choosing between lump sum investing and DCA or dollar cost averaging, it's more rational to pick the first one because of the bigger returns. But how likely are you to time every top and bottom? I mean, the odds are kind of stacked against you. And in this case, being reasonable by choosing the second option, DCAing, is going to be better, especially in extremely volatile environments such as crypto markets have historically been. And this actually made a lot of sense for me personally when looking at the times that I have lump sum invested versus DCA'd. So while you may get lower short-term returns, your trade-off is the regret in clouded judgments and mistakes. So I'd say that's not a bad trade-off at all. Number 9, people change. Now, if you consider all the different events that happen in our lives over 50, 80, 100 years, and the effect it has on our financial goals, it makes you want to take less extreme approaches to your financial investments. You know, for example, when you were in college or freshly out of college, you were probably more okay with keeping most of your net worth in crypto, given the long-term upside and the ability to recoup losses. But what happens when you get to that age when you're married and you have kids and you're trying to build a family and you're prioritizing stability? You start to realize that your wants and needs dramatically evolve, and so does the financial equivalent of those things. Basically, the takeaway here is roll with the punches of change by avoiding extremes when planning finances. And last but not least, Housel believes that pessimism sells, but optimism pays off in the long run. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? Now, one of the examples he uses is the Terra Luna collapse. You could be pessimistic and point to this as an example of why all crypto is bad and why all crypto is doomed to fail. Or you can look at how the entire crypto market has still withstood Terra collapse, the 3AC collapse, massive liquidations one after the other, as well as many scams and hacks and all sorts of things. Even the world's best investors succumb to their own emotional vices. What they don't tell you is that they're exceptionally good at minimizing them, because the hard skills of finance can be taught at any business school or nowadays YouTube. But mastering the psychology of investing and taming your own emotions and expectations is an incredibly difficult skill. I highly recommend you check out the book if you haven't already. Like and subscribe to this channel. There's really good points that can help prepare anyone for the next boom and bust cycles. So that's the video for today. I've got to go feed my cat, and I'll see you next time.